It wasn't so long ago when Toyota launched the Innova Xenix, and that was the talk of the town. The thing is, when they launched that automobile, they gave us a quick preview of something else that they were going to launch. Unfortunately, we couldn't talk about it at all because there were like 20 million NDAs being thrown out that day, and I would have been retired from AutoDeal very, very quickly. Today, however, is a very different story because now we can talk about it. This car is being launched as you're watching this right now. This, ladies and gentlemen, is the all-new Toyota Yaris Cross. Now, this is a very, very, very important car to Toyota for many a reason, including the three major reasons that I'm going to point out on this walk around. I'm not even going to chit-chat anymore. Let's get to it. The very first major reason why it's important is what's underneath the hood. You have two engine options for the Yaris Cross. The first is the all-gasoline variant, which is a 1.5-liter four-cylinder mated to a CVT that produces 106 horses and 138 Newton-meters of torque. Now, that's the all-gasoline variant. The other variant, as I'm sure you've pretty much noticed, it's the hybrid electric vehicle Yaris Cross, wherein the engine is exactly the same, but the output is detuned to about 90 horses. That's because they want to become a little bit more dependent on the electric motor, which, by the way, produces a total of 79 horses. The big thing about this, the part of reason number one, is that this being a hybrid electric vehicle means that it is exempted from the number coding scheme that is currently applied to all vehicles inside the National Capital Region. That's major reason number one. Oh, and also the fact that, well, we're obviously going to get much better fuel economy out of this car. That obviously remains to be seen, and we'll let you know once we get this car for a proper review. This, after all, is just the walk-around, our first impressions, so to speak. Now, to continue with the second very large reason why this is an important car for Toyota, we need to go down the side. Now, unlike the Yaris that we all know that is closer to the ground, this is the Yaris Cross, so it's a crossover. I'm sure you knew that. So what I'm trying to say is that it's elevated, right? And that elevation is major point number two. The fact that it's much higher from the ground is going to do a lot for a lot of customers out there, potential buyers of Toyota vehicles, because now you have a smaller vehicle that is actually elevated from the ground to get you through the more imperfect streets that we have inside the city and maybe even outside the city, sometimes in farms and whatnot. And then at the same time, you also have the elevation to get away from certain downpours that happen inside the city, which we're all accustomed to. That elevation right there, which we may not have the exact figures, but we are assuming that's at least 200 millimeters of ground clearance, which, by the way, looks great on the automobile. So that's major point number two. Before we get to major point number three, let's talk about the exterior of the automobile. And truth be told, there is nothing else that you can say about this car except the fact that it is broad and beefy. Look at the size of the grille. Look at the position of the fog lamps. It's low and wide, even on a tall automobile. The lights are sleek. The grille is massive, and it speaks the exact same design language that you can find on most current Toyota vehicles. And I gotta say, this color, it's not red, but it's sort of like a blood maroon red. I don't know what's going on, but it looks darn good. And I am starting to really fall in love with the design of this automobile. Down the side, you've got the echoes of a blacked out roof with roof rails. Then you've got repeaters on your side mirror and cameras, which is part of a 360-degree view. I like that, on a Toyota nonetheless. Not a lot of cuts on the side, more round really. On the bottom, there is one line that stretches from the A pillar all the way to the C pillar, but it's not very seen. And then underneath that, you've got a nice accent that really just accentuates the distance that you have from the ground to the vehicle. Nice 18-inch wheels wrapped in 55 series tires with disc brakes all around. Now, if you think the front was something to talk about, the rear is something to talk about as well, because it looks gorgeous, doesn't it? The shape really is, it looks like a baby RAV4. And then the lights, although Jack did mention this, that he thinks that it looks kind of like a Jaguar, like the E-Pace, not the I-Pace, but the E-Pace. In my view, I think it kind of looks like the eyes of Elizabeth Taylor, sort of like a Cleopatra going on. It's quite sexy. I'm loving this look. I'm loving also that the fact that this is now the new logo for all hybrid electric vehicles of Toyota. So you will no longer see a blue tinge around the Toyota logo anymore. It's now all going to be this, starting with this automobile, the Yaris Cross HEV onward. Now, There is no fakery on this automobile in the sense that Jack is extremely happy because there's no fake exhaust, just a real exhaust found down here. Here's something that I never thought I would see on a Yaris. Check this out. A power tailgate. How do you like them apples? Now the power tailgate will reveal obviously a quite large trunk, big enough to carry a balikbayan box, even with the standard tonneau, the tube of the tonneau still sitting there. Now obviously I won't be able to close the tonneau with the balikbayan box there, but nonetheless a balikbayan box can fit, and then obviously that will expand when you fold the rear seats and you can fit a lot more balikbayan boxes in there. But I just love the fact that there is a power tailgate on a Yaris. Whew. Toyota. Okay, inside. First of all, I gotta say, very, very comfortable. Look at my thighs. They're very well supported. Look at my legs, 90 degrees. I like it very, very much. The seats, very, very comfortable. This is not the best of leather. It's actually synthetic leather, and they're proud to say that. But the comfort itself, the give, is very, very nice. Room most definitely for 2 average to large size adults. A third passenger, perhaps maybe my size or even smaller. Now, amenities inside this car will include 2 air vents found up front, not 1, but 2. I like very much, so you don't really have to share. Underneath that, a bit hard to see, but it is there. You've got not 1 also, but 2 charging points in the form of Type-C, which I like. In the center, obviously your center armrest with 2 cup holders and more cup holders on either door. That's the great news. The not so great news is the fact that although it's just on the door, there is piano black, and this thing has got less than 50 kilometers on it, but already it can get a little bit dusty, a little bit fingerprint magnet. This bit up on top I can get with because I think that looks pretty premium. Here, not so much. I like the fact that there are different textures on the door though, but I guess that's forgivable because I'm not really going to be looking at that. I'm going to be looking at that, the panoramic roof, which is pretty nice considering the size of this automobile. It's actually quite large. This, however, is something that Jack is not too happy about. The fact that it's perforated back here. People with, what's the term, Jack?
Trypophobia.
Trypophobiaking.
No.
Trypophobiamiasis.
Trypophobia.
Tripods.
I didn't bring one.
Yeah, okay. So people that have trypophobia might not enjoy that, so you're better off sitting up front. Which, why don't we do that? Since obviously I'm locked in. Oh God, Jack, it's child lock. Help me! Help me! Okay, inside the front end of the Yaris Cross. First, the dash. The dash is actually predominantly plastic, up on top and found down below. It is your durable plastic, not really the expensive plastic, as it sounds like that. But it just basically means it's easy to clean. Underneath that, you've got leather or synthetic leather, which is nice, and it's got a blue line that crosses it. It's actually quite premium, looks good. Your instrument cluster is all digital, and that continues into your infotainment screen, which is more than 10 inches, that has Android Auto and Apple CarPlay. Finally, getting along. I like that. Your air controls are found down below. Automatic air controls, by the way. It's surrounded, however, by piano black, and this is a high-touch area, so fingerprints might fall there. And then you've got your shifter, which is also surrounded by piano blacks. Now, there is this interesting piece inside the automobile where it's like brushed aluminum, but not brushed aluminum. It's very, very shiny, and it does get a lot of fingerprints as well. I'm okay with it, but I'm not too sure just exactly what it's going to look like on a very shiny day because the sun might come down on it and be like, the sun. So I'm not too sure about that, but we'll know more when we take this out for a proper drive on behind the wheel, which we hope to get it sometime soon. On behind the wheel, I'm sure I will be able to try the cruise control that's found on the right side of the steering wheel. This is adaptive cruise, by the way, in a Yaris. How do you like them apples, huh? And then your trip computer here, and then your audio controls found here on the left. Now, there are other things that I want to point out in this automobile that are not a gimmick. It seems like Toyota really thought about this, and we like how they thought about it because it does include the consumer very, very much so, in the sense that it doesn't just have a charging point up front. It has a 3 ampere Type-C charging point. And then there's the fact that there is also wireless charging inside this automobile. Not just any wireless charging, but wireless charging big enough to even store my phone. And then it's got a locking mechanism to it so that your phone is nice and secure when you put it inside. That's pretty cool. And then the cup holders. You don't really talk about cup holders much, but check out these, I'm gonna get the keys out. Check out these cup holders where you can put in tall bottles, obviously, because it's very, very deep. But if you have, let's say, for example, a coffee cup, you just flip this down, and bada bim, bada boom, you can put a coffee cup in there. Huh? Cool. And then here in the center, not very deep, but you do have a 12-volt socket. That is actually pretty outstanding. Then, like the Toyota Wigo, it's also got a dash cam standard for the top of the line. Now, while that is all well and good, it's nowhere near the third and final major point of this automobile and why it is so important to Toyota. But before we get there, do like and subscribe our channel because we create these videos just for you guys. Now, I would like to talk about it outside because the sun has finally come back out. Oh no, wait, it's raining again. Right, just when I say the sun comes out, the rain comes pouring down. Fantastic. But that's not going to stop me from getting to major point number one, which is the Yaris Cross price, HEV price. Now, it does start at just a little under 1.2 million Philippine pesos, but this top-of-the-line HEV comes in at 1,598,000 Philippine pesos. Now, if that price sounds familiar, it is because it's exactly the same, if not relatively close to, another popular electrified vehicle of this same size, the Nissan Kicks. Now, how the Yaris Cross will fare up against the Nissan Kicks, that remains to be seen. And I implore you to subscribe to our channel so that you don't miss out, because that's a comparison we definitely want to do. But also, this is just a walk around of the Yaris Cross. Do tune in because we hope to have a behind the wheel of this automobile very, very soon. Take care, everyone. Stay safe. See you soon. Man, this rain is coming. It's going. Is it done?
Nope.
Nope. How are we?
We're in the middle of a parking lot, and I guess we're stuck here, you and me. As if we don't spend enough time together. Here we are.
Are you getting tired of me already, Jack?
I'm not saying that. I'm just saying, like, there's not much options. We're kind of stuck in the middle of a parking lot.
If you feel bad, imagine how bad my wife feels.